Welcome to Infinite Keys, and this is the very first video here because now we're starting. This is actually an idea I've carried with me for many years. About 15 years ago, I started creating little images based on single words. Interchangeable was one of the first words I used because that's a little bit how I see myself. Over the years, I've been thinking about how I could take infinite possibilities further. How could I combine it with all the knowledge I have, with my love of inspiring people, and with the power that can exist in just one word? And then I thought, why not? A video on Fridays with a little push for the weekend, another on Mondays to start the week, and then some shorter reminders on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I've made a whole list of words that I want to explore with you: our thoughts, beliefs, limitations, expectations, self image, identity, decisions, freedom, control, disappointment, forgiveness, and curiosity. That's actually where we're going to start on Monday. But today, for this very first infinite key, I want to talk about synchronicities. Maybe it's no coincidence that you're watching this right now. Maybe you're simply curious. Maybe you're thinking, well, I have 7 free days, so why not see what this is about? Maybe you followed me for a while and you're wondering what on earth Ylva has come up with now. Or maybe you're interested in infinite possibilities and see another possibility here. So let's talk about synchronicities. What brought you here right now? Did you see something about infinite keys somewhere? Did it simply pop up in front of you? Did someone tell you about it? Why are you here? Do coincidences actually exist? Or is everything somehow perfectly arranged? I used to talk about coincidences. I would say, what a wonderful coincidence that this happened. Today I see it differently. I see synchronicities. When we focus on something, we often begin to receive answers from life. And those answers can appear in all kinds of ways. It could be a message from someone, something you suddenly notice, an opportunity that appears, or an insight that comes from something you've been thinking about. There are signs all around us, but sometimes we miss them. Maybe because we're moving too fast, maybe because we don't believe in them, or maybe because there wasn't an angel standing right in front of us telling us, pay attention, this is important. Sometimes I think we focus on the wrong things. Think about reading a newspaper. You look at the headlines and click on whatever catches your attention. And while you're doing that, you may miss all kinds of other information. I'm not recommending that anyone read the news, by the way. It's just an example. I'm much more interested in the positive possibilities we can discover in life. And that's what I want to give you with Infinite Keys: a key for the weekend, a key for the week, a key for a single day. Something you can reflect on and perhaps explore further. What you do with it is entirely up to you. So, is synchronicity something we create, or is it something that simply appears? How do synchronicities show up in your life? Do you notice them? Maybe you suddenly think, that's strange. I was just thinking about her and now she's calling, or you've been thinking about something you need. And suddenly an opportunity appears. What happens if we become a little more open to those moments? That's one reason why we're going to talk about curiosity on Monday. I also think intuition and synchronicity belong together. We all have that inner feeling. For some people, they feel it in their stomach. For others, it seems to come from somewhere in their head. But somewhere inside us, we often already know, I believe we have our answers within us. Sometimes we just need something from the outside to help us see them. A little push, a reflection, a mirror, and sometimes we simply don't notice what's being shown to us because we're too busy with everything else. I can be like that myself. Sometimes I'm so stressed and caught up in life that I don't notice everything happening around me. But Infinite Keys itself came to me through a combination of intuition and synchronicity. I knew I wanted to create something new, something that could bring together more of what I know and what I love doing. And suddenly I saw a key. And I thought, infinite keys. There it was. My intuition gave me the feeling, and synchronicity gave me the key. And then I realized something else. I've been collecting words for years. People say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I think one word can contain 1,000 words. Take joy. Inside joy, there can be hope, happiness, love, expectations, memories. So much can exist inside one single word. And as someone who has worked with tarot since 1974, words are incredibly important to me because one tarot card can mean so many different things. I often say tarot is like reading a rebus. You might see a tree in a picture, but it's not necessarily just a tree. What kind of tree is it? An oak, a birch, an elm? Maybe it's a fantasy tree that doesn't even exist. You have to remain open. And that's what Infinite Keys will be about. Sometimes I'll give you something connected to tarot. Sometimes it might come from runes, astrology, colors, crystals, or something completely different. But this isn't a course. I'm going to use the knowledge and experience I've gathered throughout my life to explore the things that affect us as human beings. For example, I might use a tarot card as my starting point, but I won't necessarily talk about the card itself. I might talk about what's behind our need for validation, our patterns, our behaviors, our fears, our possibilities. For this weekend, I have chosen one of my tarot affirmation songs for you, The Wheel of Fortune. Years ago, I used to say that the Wheel of Fortune was about being in the right place at the right time. Until I realized something. You are always in the right place at the right time. The question is whether you're in the best place at the best time for you. Right now, you're here. Maybe that's a synchronicity too. Whether Infinite Keys has something to give you is something only your own intuition can decide. I hope I can inspire you in the weeks and months ahead. This is something I've dreamed about creating for a long time. So, this weekend, I want you to start noticing synchronicities. What's happening around you? What were you thinking about just before something appeared? Why did this person, message, idea, or opportunity come into your life right now? Be curious. Because that's exactly where we're going on Monday. And one last question for you. What has happened in your life during the past week that you might once have called a coincidence, but could actually have been a perfect synchronicity? Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.